Now, I first heard about Ushahidi in 2008, just during the post-election crisis time. Maybe you can introduce us to crowdsourcing, what it means and how it worked during the post-election crisis.
Yeah, so Ushahidi was born during the post-election violence. It was an ad hoc group of technologists and bloggers who just banded together to create this platform. It took us a couple days to build. And the basic idea was, and we weren't trying to be game-changing at the time, we were just trying to find information just like everybody else. And we said, there's ordinary people out there who have more information than the media do. Or the media might have it, but they're intimidated by the political situation, so they won't say it. So let's just create an open system that allows anybody to say what's going on around them. And so that was the basic idea of Ushahidi.
I was just reading through some of the stories, and you started off with about 45,000 users at the time, so people you called citizen journalists. How did how exactly did it work? How did you get these people to actually contribute to the site?
Well, it's one of those things where, especially during a crisis or a disaster of some sort, people want to say something. There's very few outlets for them to say it that they know that other people will see or that will be remembered. And so one of the powerful things about Ushahidi was that it was one of the only places you could do that. So it was one of the few outlets you had as a normal, ordinary person to say something. But we also, as bloggers and web people, we had pretty strong outlets that as soon as we announced that we had launched Ushahidi, there was a good couple 100,000 individuals who saw that right away and started telling their friends and family back in Kenya. And so a lot of the diaspora were taking part, telling their friends and family, and then that information was coming from them all the way back to us.
So how exactly were citizen journalists contributing to the platform? Were they using mobile phones? Did they have to be on the internet to report, so to speak?
A lot of what we do is based on the idea of that ordinary people can access this. And yes, of course, if you have internet connection, you can do a lot more than you can with a normal mobile phone, but that's our lowest common denominator. And what's interesting too is that because we opened it up to everybody with just a mobile phone, it was really open to everybody. And so the Harvard Humanitarian Institute did a post-mortem study on Ushahidi's information, bloggers' information, and traditional media's information. And they saw that where traditional media and bloggers tended to echo each other within main cities and towns across Kenya, that Ushahidi was gathering data and information from people well off the grid. So people from towns that weren't being reported from.
So the same model has been replicated in South Africa during the xenophobia attacks, in Haiti as well. And I saw on your website that it is now a free platform where anybody can download it to assess or to get information about a certain crisis. First of all, why is it free? And then what is the impact that it has had, say, in Haiti or during the xenophobia attacks?
What happened back right after the post-election violence and after we were done with the initial Ushahidi instance here in Kenya, we were still just guys with our own businesses, our own jobs. And we banded together about May of 2008 and said, should we just go ahead and make this an organization? And we had to ask ourselves a question at that point, which was, is this a for-profit initiative or a not-for-profit? We fundamentally believe that it being free and open source software allows it to be used in places all over the world in ways that software you have to pay for can't be. And for this type of information that has to come from the ground up, it only makes sense that it comes as a free and open source package that anybody can download, anybody can use. So when we looked at the organization then, we had to be a nonprofit. We had to be neutral in order to put this thing together and for people out there to use it and trust us because we're going to build the basic framework. And what that also meant is we could do it with a small team.
Let's turn our attention to your newest baby, the iHub. What is the iHub all about? I understand it's a place where innovators can come in, but and then what?
It's a nexus point for the tech community to congregate around and get stuff done. That means academics, it means everyday entrepreneurs in the tech field, it means large corporates, And everybody is coming here because it is neutral territory.
So what's happening within the innovation space, say in Nairobi, for instance? I know the M-Pesa phenomenon definitely brought a lot of attention to the East African community. Are other innovators, the other tech innovators rising up to that challenge?
Yeah, there are. There's actually quite a few young entrepreneurs and innovators in the technology scene here. What we find, though, is that they have a hard time getting the seed funding they need to really get going. So it's easier for Safaricom to push an M-Pesa out than it is for an organization to grow from just a seed into something bigger. And so one of the big challenges we face here is seed funding and allowing individuals to get started on a project without having the amount of investment being, somewhere between, let's say it's up to $100,000. The organization that funds or the individual usually wants upwards of 60% of that new entrepreneur's business, and that removes a lot of incentive, and it's really not what we need within this space.
Let's look at policy. The government did set up the Kenya ICT board, and there seems to be a lot of effort towards bringing up the ICT sector. The fiber optic cables are here. We're hoping bandwidth costs are going to go down with the third entry of Easy. But does the tech community feel that the government is putting enough to them?
I think that Dr. Ndemo and Paul Kukubo are doing an excellent job at their positions. What we see them putting money into is needed, yes. So e-government type initiatives, yes, they're definitely needed. But we also need the government to do a few things that make entrepreneurship and new innovation happen here locally even easier, which is remove some of the barriers. Some of the licensing restrictions, some of these things are legacy and grandfathered in and make it very difficult for young entrepreneurs to get going, to get funding, to set up a business, those types of things. And so we need to see an initiative that's focused at tech entrepreneurs especially. Yes, there's a lot of other entrepreneurs out there, but tech entrepreneurs need a specific hand in this space where they can, from the government, from a policy perspective, which allows them to build their businesses from the ground up, instead of having to go straight to investors just to overcome licensing and business restrictions. And that's what we're seeing right now.